Okay, we're going to get started. Thank you. So welcome, everyone. I wanted to welcome you to the Southern Ontario Utility Region staff meeting hosted by the Transportation Infrastructure Division. So I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out just to gather here with us today. I'll go through the agenda. So as you can see, we have a lot to get covered today. So we'll start with an introduction from our General Manager, Afra, and then we'll have a quality moment from Jason Kalea, which is our Operations Manager, and then we'll have our safety moment and health and safety updates from West Peg, and then we'll get into our HR updates with Shahara and Huma, and then we'll have a project spotlight, which will be done by myself. And then we have Derek Monroe, who is a manager of our HSC and Human Organizational Performance from PGR. So I'm definitely looking forward for that presentation. That's going to be based on our energy-based safety presentation. And then we'll have our regional updates and the draw. And what we're doing differently this year, we're going to be having a quiz just to make it a little bit more interactive. So just pay attention for that, and we have some prizes and some giveaways for the correct answers. So that will be done by myself and Afra as well. So without further ado, I'll ask Afra if he can come and do the introduction.
Test. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks. Oh, I was expecting them better welcoming here. Come on, man. Come on. Hey, on the back. Jeff, you're good? Like, hopefully this time we're going to take care of everything. Nothing goes wrong, you know? You know, as Wes used to say that quarterly meeting, now semi-annual meeting, is not going to be a quarterly meeting if you don't mess up with the sound system. So I'm going to do my best. Hopefully the other presenter are going to do their best to have the smooth presentation here. I was looking to the statistics. 75% of American people, they are not really comfortable doing the public presentation. Meaning that if you have 4 people in the room, 3 of them prefer to not be here, prefer to be somewhere else. And that's the same case for us. We are being here, we are not the professional presenter here. We're coming out of our comfort zone, being here, challenge ourselves to have this type of meetings because we want to have the productive time between all of us. So I really want to ask everyone to switch off your phone or put your phone on the silent mode and pay respect and attention to the presenters. This stuff takes lots of time to make it happen, lots of coordination happen behind the scene to make this event productive. I know many of us have some last-minute emergency calls. If that's the case, please step out, answer the call, come back, and switch off your phone. Some housekeeping notes, 2 emergency on the side, washroom, and the muster points is going to be on the front entrance. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Afra Shokrai, and welcome to 2025 semi-annual meeting. 2024 was one of the most successful year for Black & Mac, if it was not a successful year. So I want to take the opportunity and ask for a round of applause for everyone in this room to make this happen for the company. You know, last year at the same time, it was in January, I guess, I stood up here for the very first time as a general manager. And to be honest with you, man, I don't remember a single word I said back in those days. So still I'm here in one piece and still alive in front of you. So thanks a lot for all the support to all of us, to Steve, myself, and other DMs. Before I get into some regional notes, I just want to ask all of you in this room, how many of you really pay attention and notice that the name has been changed from quarterly meeting to semi-annual? Just raise your hand. Don't be shy. Come on. What about you guys on the back? Like, I want to have some contribution on the back, some participation. Aaron, did you see that? It was a semi-annual, not quarterly anymore, right? Yeah. The reason I'm asking the question because I remember we had that conversation with Wes, Davey, Joe, Steve. What's the best format to set up these type of meetings? As you know, it used to be a quarterly meeting every 3 months. We sent a questionnaire survey to all the employees that are attending the quarterly meeting last time in November. And believe me or not, only 14% respond back to that survey. 14% is was 45 people. We have almost 300 headcounts in our region. This is really important for us to get the feedback from you because don't forget, this is our company and we want to make this company a better place to work with. So when we ask those questions, those survey, those questionnaire, there's lots of meaning behind it. It's really important for us to get the feedback of every one of you and to make things better for the company. So in the future, if we send a survey, definitely we are expecting to get more feedback, more response from all our employees. Looking to the safety, just a quick recap of the safety. Last year, unfortunately, we have some critical incidents. And that was the same case for other companies. I remember Wes did a great presentation as usual. And if you remember, there was the incident for one of the contractors on the Younger Street. They were doing the big excavation. By some reason, they didn't use the shore box. To me, within utilities, construction industry, using the shore box is a must, is a common sense. But something happened that people don't pay attention to those details and trying to cut the corners and not come up with the proper planning. And that's the same case for us. If you look into those presentations that Wes did last year, in terms of the crews and the experience with the crews and the trend for the incident, most of the time incident happen with people with lots of experience or people with lack of experience. And these are the indications that we need to look into that, come up with the better planning, looking to be proactive, having those communication in place so avoid any type of incident and critical injuries on the job site. When you look into the details of the description for those critical injuries and the incident reports, all of them, not even one, all of them were avoidable, meaning that there's lots of opportunity to make things better for all of us in this room. As a matter of fact, I have to admit that myself, I didn't have that safety mindset before I joined Black & MacDonald. Every one of you in this room, made me a better version of myself and forced me to think twice before I take any action. And that's my mindset, not just at the workplace, but also in my personal life. This is my conversation with my people, with my friends, with my families. Give you an example, last year I had this small chandelier that I was planning to replace it. It was on the stairs, and when I was looking to the location of that lighting, I felt that if you put the ladder, you're not going to have the 3 point of contacts. I hired a local contractor in that area. I live in Aurora. And the guy came. I told him that if you don't feel comfortable, don't do the job. I'm not forcing you. You know what happened? He did the evaluation on the job site in my home, and he called me back because I left the home. He called me back and said, "After, you brought a good point. I don't feel that I have the 3 point of contact on the ladder. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to do the job." I said, "Excellent. I don't want you to take any measure or do anything that you don't feel safe." The next day he called me again and I said, "I appreciate that. Hey buddy, you brought to my attention. This is always sit in my mind that I'm not going to take any risk. I'm not going to cut the corners, This is bringing lots of value to me as a personal and after as a Black & MacDonald employees that I made something right with the contractor came to my place. So just be careful on that. The safety mindset is going to sit here, and it's not just only on the job site or at workplace. It's going to affect your personal life, and that should be a message to our families, friends, and our community. Look into the quality. The next item on the agenda. Actually, I didn't change this. Sorry for that. Yeah. Quality is one of the major initiatives for the corporate, for Black & MacDonald as a whole, as a company. We're trying to do the same thing that we have done on the safety, set up that quality culture with our team, with our crews, with our managers. So you're going to see lots of communication correspondences on the quality to set up this quality system in place and have the high quality projects. Don't forget, safety, quality, production is going to go hand in hand. You're not going to expect the job site being safe, but the quality is not the greatest, or the production is the greatest. Safety, quality, and production is going to go hand in hand. And this is really important for us to pay attention to quality in more details. And we are working on our end to come up with the inspection reports similar to what we have for the safety and quality plan as overall for our projects. HR, lots of good things happened last year in 2024. Wonderful Christmas party. Of course, it was not only HR, lots of support on the back end, especially Deborah. She's not here today, but definitely appreciate her support, and Kathy remotely. They have done a great job. I had lots of fun. I think most of us had lots of good time in the Christmas party last year. Lots of team building activities for office staff or trade staff. We're going to do the same thing. I'm not going to steal the thunder from the HR. They're going to do the fantastic presentation later on. But we're going to have lots of good news, team building activities, and have some fun the same time that we're doing the hard work. Annual compliance for our office staff, there was a deadline to complete it sooner than later. For our field staff, please stay in this room. We're going to do the annual compliance. Wes is going to do the WSIB updates and training and annual compliance. So I kindly ask all the field staff to stay in this room after we're done with the semi-annual meeting and finish that annual compliance. In terms of the finance, region had a very successful year last year. As I said, company did a great job in 2024. Lots of big projects on substation, overhead lines, transportation, lots of transit projects, subway projects, highway projects, and more important, GTAA. We have done a great job, submit our proposal for GTAA. Hopefully we're going to hear back from the owner by sometime in April, but that's going to be a milestone for the company. If we secure that project, it's going to be a huge opportunity for all the groups in Pullman Court and maybe with other groups in Ontario. And the good news regarding our backlog for 4,200, we have the largest backlog in the company, is north of 800 million, which is a great number for the company. And this is, it happened because of our relationship with the clients. We have lots of multi-year contracts, maintenance contracts, construction contracts. It happened because of our relationship, the trust, and market intelligence that we put in place. So thanks a lot for everyone to support us in that regard, and let's make things happen again and again. In terms of the BASWare, as you know, there's lots of communication in BASWare. We still have lots of challenges to manage that BASWare. We have lots of mismatching, lots of work happening on the back end, which should not happen. We had training earlier this week on Tuesday for all the groups in SAR. Make sure they're going to pay attention to the BASWare and address those mismatches or any issue with the invoice in more timely manner. And sometimes I have the tendency to go a little bit beyond my time, so I need to watch my time, of course. I'm still good, I guess, Anthony, right? Yeah. One thing for the host of today's semi-annual meeting, we have lots of changes in the company in our region last year, but one of the major change for us was the changing the name of the division. Used to be called MTO Municipal 4202. For me and many of us in this room, MTO is personal. We have lots of emotion with MTO because we started our career at MTO. We built up our experience in MTO in 4202, and that was the same thing for me. I remember maybe the third day my work at Black & MacDonald, someone came to me and handed over me the book called NECA. So if you're an estimator, you know NECA is like your Bible. Like you're not going to understand the concept of estimating if you don't understand the NECA. So I look into the NECA and open the book, the first page. I look at the name, it said Tony DeCusi, and it was like for 1994. So Tony actually started his career, and many of the top-notch managers in the company started a job from MTO Municipal. So back after that day, whenever I price any job for MTO, I always imagine Tony is on top of my head and asking me to watch margin, watch the overhead, watch the production. So it was great to work in that division for me and for many of us in this room. And we had lots of fun in that group. As a closure, the last but not least, the team is always above us, all the individuals, and that's the same case today. I came here as an Afro, but I'm a part of the big group called Transportation Infrastructure, who is the host of this semi-annual meeting. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Anthony Glasgow, the DM for Transportation Infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Anthony Glasgow.
Thanks, Al. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Thank you. So as Afra alluded to, so one of the key pillars, in addition to safety and production, is quality. So that's one of the things we wanted to start to highlight and have the same type of mindset and culture when it comes to quality. So I have our operations manager, Jason Kilea, as you all well know, was just recently promoted from our superintendent role. So he has an understanding from a perspective from working in the field and understanding the impacts with when it comes to safety, quality, and production. So I'm going to ask Jeff if he can come and give his presentation on the quality.
Thank you, sir. No problem. Hello, everybody. I'm going to read through this and try not to stumble too many words because I only practiced about 300 times so far. So, the importance of proactive quality mindset. In our industry, quality isn't just about checking boxes or performing inspections at the end of a project. It's about building a proactive mindset that drives better outcomes from the start. When we take this proactive approach to quality, we create opportunities to identify potential issues early, mitigate risks, and implement solutions before they escalate. This mindset helps us avoid costly rework, minimize delays, and ultimately deliver a safer, more efficient, and higher performing infrastructure for ourselves, clients, and communities. Quality isn't just a checkpoint. It's a tool for success. When we treat quality as an ongoing process embedded in our planning, execution, and decision-making, we empower ourselves to constantly deliver excellence. By embracing this proactive mindset, we strengthen our reputation, improve project outcomes, and position ourselves as leaders in the industry. Proactive quality isn't just the best practice, it's a commitment that drives our success. I've been, with MTO for 25 years, basically, today. And I've kind of noticed a lot of that, like when, bigger projects that I've been on and that, like we start off, it's always a little difficult to kind of get your head around stuff, but as you're going through the job, you start to see things like little patterns and stuff, and if you could like just look ahead and just sometimes there's a better way of doing things, right? Like it's our reputation and whatever we could come up with, like ideas, thinking outside the box to kind of improve stuff. Like we're all here to help each other. So like you might have ideas, share them with each other. Just try and think outside the box and come up with ways where we can improve what we do on a day-to-day basis. A lot of times we just get complacent, right? And to be honest with you, like reading this, it's always something that we kind of know, but if we actually focus on it and try and look at where could we use this and improve some of our situations, right? In whatever division you're in, because we're all up against like the same challenges, but I encourage you all to like kind of look at who's around you and who you can talk to kind of come up with better ideas to do stuff. And I really strongly believe that like it has a lot to do with the safety, with production and quality. They all go hand in hand. And I probably didn't know that all along, but I am definitely learning that now. So I just want everybody to kind of consider that going forward. Try and use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Much appreciated. At this moment in time, I'm going to ask Wes Pegg if he can come up and start doing the health and safety updates.
I'm okay. Everybody loves hearing my voice. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for not crowding the front of the room. It makes me feel better that I can project further back for everybody, so that's good. There you go. So this is what I'm going to go over with you today. Got some good stuff, some not so good stuff, and something really great to finish off my presentation with. So the safety moment, you've all heard this, see something, say something, been talking about this over and over for the last couple of years, I think. What I'm going to share with you and the safety moment and some other stuff really resonates with what this program is all about. So, fingers crossed.
Hey, Tyler.
What's up?
I've got a funny feeling about that ladder.
Yeah, but Mike and Josh set it up. It's probably fine.
Really? You should say something.
I don't want to cause any problems.
Trust me. Go talk to the boss. Better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, you're right. Hey, that ladder over there, it doesn't look right.
That's not even the proper ladder. Let's go fix it. Thanks for saying something.
God love WorkSafe BC. They have lots of good stuff. But, you know, see something, say something. The other item with that video kind of resonated with me as a young worker. You know, it is March. We're on the cusp of a very busy construction season, summer. This is when we bring in a lot of new workers, a lot of young workers, some summer students, some interns, this kind of stuff. So I really wanted to get you guys thinking about how we look after the young workers, make sure they're set up for success. So the safety moment, again, is young workers at work. So young workers experience more injuries than other older workers. While younger workers make up only 13% of the workforce, they account for about 16% of allowable lost time incidents. That's a pretty terrible stat, really, when you think about it. Because when we think about young workers, I think about my own kids going to work every day, right? There are several reasons why new and young workers are particularly at risk. They may lack experience or training to recognize and avoid hazards. They might not know their rights. They may not be properly supervised. And they may not have received adequate orientation. All workers, young and old, are encouraged to protect themselves by asking the following questions. What are the dangers of my job? Are there any hazards? Noise, ergonomic, chemical radiation, etc.? What should I know about, right? When will I receive job safety training? Is there any safety gear that I'll be expected to wear? And when I receive training in how to use it? When will I be trained in emergency procedures? Where are fire extinguishers, first aid kits, and other emergency equipment located? What are my health and safety responsibilities? What do I ask if I have a safety question? Or sorry, who do I ask? And who is the member of the Joint Health and Safety Committee or my safety rep? And what do I do if I get hurt? Who is the first aid person? And I encourage you to reference the Vulnerable Workers Program that we have available in our safety management system. And really, again, we're going to be bringing these young workers in, and don't take for granted that they know something. When you give a young worker instructions, get them to say it back to you. Make sure that they've understood what you've asked them to do, and check in on them regularly, right? And do your best to assign them to somebody who's experienced. Partner them up with somebody who will look after them and help them get integrated into the job. Okay, safety statistics. I wouldn't be a safety manager if I didn't share safety statistics at every meeting we do. So this is Southern Ontario Utility Region total. That includes Ontario and Northeast US, and our performance from November 1st to the end of February. So we've got 3 recordable incidents to the end of February, and it brings our rate at 0.99 under the 1, which is the target that we've set, and we're also coming in under 3.63. But when I take this and I look at, if you take Ontario out of that number, they contribute quite a lot of hours to our region for the statistical reporting, and as a group here in this room, we're well over 1. So again, something to focus on. It is a way we're measured. It is a way that we have to communicate to our clients and also our peers. For the calendar year, we've hit just 300,000 man hours, which is, again, it's a lot of good activity, and we're under 1, which is great to see. Pardon the paper flipping, but I like to do things the old way every once in a while. Causal factors. So, I pull this stuff out of e-compliance, take it from the incident reports, gives us stuff to look at, see what the deficiencies were, see what was causing these incidents. The substandard acts, that is really the lead-ins to causing the incidents. And you can see failure to identify risks and hazards, that's at the top. Failure to follow procedures and safe work practices, that's a bit of concern. Because we have these in place, your safe work practices, following them will prevent incidents, right? Line of fire events, failure to react and correct. Again, these are the top ones that are causing our incidents. This trend slide here goes to the safety moment. Aforementioned last year when I was up here talking, I talked about more experienced workers getting hurt, long-term workers getting hurt. And now within the first 4 months of our year, the tables have flipped, as it were. You see, the majority of the incidents are with workers with less than 5 years experience. So that's a call out to everybody supervising crews here in the room. When you're setting up these jobs, when you're doing your hazard assessments, when you're doing your pre-jobs, making sure everybody on your crew understands what's happening, teaming up the right guys, partnering the right person with the work activity, and checking in on them regularly, right? We shouldn't see anybody on this sheet, but when I see workers with the least amount of experience, that's a concern. Because these are the ones that we're supposed to be mentoring, training, getting them in place to move up and replace those as of the senior level, right? Injury trends moving along, the majority, 4 out of 11 events fall on same level events, fall from elevation. Now that, again, that spoke to the supervisor call this morning, what I was talking about with housekeeping. This time of year, slips, trips, and falls are normally caused by pretty lousy housekeeping activities, a lot of shit we're finding it now that the snow's all melted. So, that's the time to clean up. That's what prevents these events. Taking the extra time. 6 out of 11 incidents involve lower extremities. So that's the feet and knees, your legs. Again, it's funny how this stuff goes. You focus on an item. Last year we were talking a lot of hand injuries, this kind of stuff, and within a very short period of time, workers are getting hurt, and we're hurting feet, legs. I mean, we had that one injury from the substation group where the bucket fell on his foot, fractured the top of his foot. He had his foot in the line of fire. But again, our feet, our legs, our hands, our eyes, everything. We can't do our jobs on our sites without this stuff, right? So you got to make sure you set yourself out of line of fire, out of harm's way when you're doing your job. Now, one of my more favorite topics are motor vehicle incidents. As you can see, we got 9 odd-fault incidents this year. We've already, we're higher than we were last year at this time. It's not a good stat to look at. But the one I want to point out to you is the very first one. 4 out of the 9 at-fault events are hitting the rear of another person. That's pretty easy stuff when you're driving. Like, you know what I mean? That means what? You're following too close and you're driving too fast, right? Sorry? Or you're distracted, sure. Or you're sucked in by your cell phone buzzing off on the seat or something. Thank you. But totally preventable. And these incidents, in your logoed vehicles, we have a motor vehicle incident, hits our CVR, and it impacts the whole group, right? The other one, driver failed to observe clearance. That's hitting stationary objects, right? You got to know what the vehicle is you're driving. You got to know how long it is. You got to know how wide it is. You got to know how high it is, right? You know, if you're not used to driving a particular truck and you get asked to move it for somebody, make sure you get in, make sure you've circled the truck and you know what you're moving, know what you're driving, right? So, collision with a stationary object was the other one. So those first, what do we got, 7, excuse me, 9 of those events, they're all the same, right? Similarly, hitting stationary objects, hitting somebody too close in front of you. So it's a pretty easy adjustment. There was actually a conversation earlier today about, in Toronto, they've got the cameras on the streets, you know, the speed cameras. I know everybody's seen them. We have them in my hometown where I live in Barrie. Read an article, it was quite humorous actually. A couple of people were writing in complaining about the flashes as they were driving up the street from the camera. Well, what's an easy fix not to see the flashes? What's that? Slow down and follow the speed limit. Holy shit, what a miracle, right? Last week, in coming down to Scarborough, I had some holiday stuff, and I was coming down to Scarborough, and my GPS, the map said take Birchmount from go down off 407 Warden and go down Birchmount to get down into Lower Scarborough. So Birchmount has quite a few of these cameras on it. The speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour. I've never seen a road in Scarborough move so good in my life. Everybody on that road, they all must have been caught at one time because everybody was driving 50 kilometers an hour. Bang on. They all, I guess, had their cruise control. But it moved. There was no traffic jam. Everybody got to the light together. Everybody left the light together. There was no cutting in out or any of this stuff. And it actually made better time going from Steeles and Birchmount down to St. Clair than I would have any other road just because of these cameras. So, you know, they work, and it won't hurt you to drive at the speed limit. Trust me. Anyway, some of the thing with the vehicle incidents I also wanted to point out was just the fact that 11 of the 15 incidents happened after lunch. I mean, that's just a stat. I can't tell you exactly why it happened after lunch, but you're getting out of your vehicle, you're getting back in. Are you circling it? Has there been a change in the afternoon that you didn't know about? A change in schedule? Again, you know, when I put this stuff up here, it's to put ideas in your head and think about your own activities when you're on the job, okay? Remembering our urgent triage program. It's a great service. The nurse is wonderful. She does a great job. You know, she's always available, gives you really solid guidance. She's done some good stuff, helped out workers that have turned up with personal medical conditions that they called about that happened, they were reacting on the job site, and she was able to assist. So, you know, there's a reason we got into this with this group, and like I say, the nurse who's on staff, she does a wonderful job for us with that. So, so I've talked about good stuff, not so good stuff with the stats, and I got something really great to share. So, you know, we talk about good catches. We report on them on the supervisor calls. We get an opportunity here at the quarterly meeting. Last year, I can't remember if it was last year Q1 as well, that Ewan and his colleagues won. I think it was. But anyway, we were selected company-wide in utilities for a good catch for the first quarter. So that's North America. Down in the States, up here, I think when I was standing up here last time, I was saying that we got to step up our effort because our American friends were leading us with the good catches, and it's nice to see, you know, the first quarter we hit the top. So I want to recognize Lauren, Kyle, and Edward from the utility region. They're working in the metering group. Holy shit, I should have printed this a little bit bigger. Sorry. So the workers arrived on site to complete a meter replacement. They knocked at the door to see if anybody was home and received no response. They proceeded to perform the replacement, and when they were finished the work, the workers heard a loud banging coming from inside the home. They decided to investigate further and inspected around the house or the home to determine what the noise was. When they got to the side door of the home, the workers heard a faint voice calling for help as the individual inside the home had fallen and couldn't get up. The workers immediately called emergency services for assistance, reported the event to their direct supervisor. Once emergency services arrived, they were able to secure the elderly owner of the home who had been stuck since the previous Friday and get him to the hospital. So, you know, they heard something, instead of just walking away and moving on with a busy day, they took that extra time to investigate what the problem was. So they heard something, they saw something, and they did something. And a great example of Black and MacDonald, and a great example of really looking after members of the public besides yourself. So I want to recognize, I don't believe Eddie's here. I think the quote from the email was he's up in God's country, but I'm hoping Lauren and Kyle are here. I'd like you to come up. We've got some stuff for you, for your good catches. Steve. I didn't prepare you, sorry. All right, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. And just the last thing before I get off. Alfred talked about the survey and what everybody wanted to see at these semi-annual meetings, and it came up that you really want to do annual compliance and women's training after this meeting, so that's why I've got it scheduled for everybody. So thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you, Wes. At this moment, I'll ask our HR director, Shahara, to come up and do some human resources updates.
Thank you. This could be a little too high for me, so I'm going to have to wing it a little bit. In the spirit of teamwork, I'm going to get you guys to do something because it's after lunch. And I think the carbs are hitting you a little bit. So I know everyone's looking at me like, oh my gosh, what is she going to make me do? So I'm going to make sure you guys stand up, and I'm going to ask you guys to find one person you don't know and introduce yourself to them in the spirit of teamwork, because we're here as one company, and I want you guys to mingle a little bit more. Come on, guys, up you get. Surprise. Find someone you don't know. Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Surprise. Surprise. Are we good, guys? Are we woken up? Good job, guys. See? Not so hard. You know what's funny? We're all creatures of habit. We all go back to our same seat. Right? Nobody wants to change. Okay. Huma changed. Huma knows everybody, so she didn't partake. But, so that was an exercise of why HR does what we do. Okay? That is to support you. That is to be here and help our leaders become better leaders. Our employees feel more engaged, and I am not clicking this as I'm speaking. And so these are some of the areas that we're looking at really kind of diving into in 2025. Leadership, performance, how do we engage our trades? How do we talk to you guys and understand what you guys need from us and vice versa? The 2025 Employment Engagement Survey, we'll talk about that a little in a bit, because that's coming at us in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Talent, how do we hire, how do we inspire, and how do we keep the new hires that we work so hard to find? So hiring in today's market is not an easy thing, whether that's trades or not trades, and we need to ensure that those new hires are supported from day one. So there's a lot of focus on that going forward. Marketing our brand. So a lot of us obviously joined this organization because we knew of Black and MacDonald. You'll be surprised, the younger generation does not. And so because of that, we're spending a lot of time getting out to the colleges and getting out to community events so that that brand name becomes a little bit more well-known in the in the recruitment phase. And retention. So looking at, why are we losing the people we're losing and where are they going, and how can we do better so that we don't have those individuals leaving the organization, because people and human resources are important to keep within the team and with the company. So those are our focuses going forward. Just to look back a little bit, so the 2024 engagement survey, we didn't get the results out as fast as we wanted to, but that's one of the areas we're going to change in 2025. You'll see here, this is the engagement between non-unionized and unionized employees. So this is based on the feedback we got from you guys last year, this time, approximately last April. So we're trending in the right direction. But this year we're hoping, as we take a different approach to the distribution of the survey, so you'll see here we didn't give them out. They'll be coming to the sites as opposed to us doing it at this venue. We're hoping and really encouraging you guys to partake, because your feedback is very important. And the first 2 slides that I just showed you is actually built on your feedback that you give into those surveys, because it really does kind of put our path forward in terms of where we focus on for people. Can you guys see that, or is that very small? Someone could have told me that. Okay, so I'll read it from the top. These are your percentages, right? So working environment, culture, inclusion, those are your top 3. Okay, so those are the 3 areas that Sauer is doing extremely well on, and that you guys feel that we're doing well on. The minus to the right, it just means how much we've changed between 23 and 2024. And then we go down to manager relationships, employee empowerment, coworker relationships, and so on. So this is where we look at what are we doing well and how do we make sure we stay there. And then we look at maybe the lower area of that work-life balance and department collaboration. And we've been brainstorming since last year to actually company-wide to handle, how do we collaborate better? How do we communicate better? And today was an exercise of that, right? Is to get up and not sit in our comfort zone and not sit in our silos and really make that effort to reach out to each other and work as one team. So this has really been a focus area for us since last year, and it will continue to be as we grow, as we get the results from this year's survey going forward. So the action since last year, we've done many, many meetings. We've done a risk analysis. We've looked at team meetings. We've looked at social events. We've looked at our emerging leaders programs. We look at how do we train foremen and superintendents to be the best leaders that they can, so that they can, manage their trades, men and women, and make sure that we have a pathway for employees coming in, whether you're trades or non-trades. There's a lot more activities that we will focus on as we go, but these are some of the activities that we've spent a lot of time diving into, and hopefully we'll continue to do that as we go along. So the 2025 survey, that's coming at you. That will be launched April 2nd, but Huma will let you know kind of what to expect on that front, and then she'll take it from there. So thank you for doing my little team building exercise. Oh, don't leave, okay.
You can keep that. Can you guys hear me? Hey guys, thank you for coming. So just wanted to touch base on the 2025 Employee Engagement Survey. We talk about it every year. Wanted to bring it up to your attention as well. As we're getting into April, this is going to be coming up again, and we really, really want you to please take a few minutes out and provide your feedback to us. It's extremely important. This is how we improve. I do want to put up a picture right here just to show you what it looks like. Now, I know a lot of you guys are a bit hesitant to complete the first page due to the demographic. Complete it to your best knowledge. It's extremely important that we know. And I do want to let you know that Black & MacDonald is only assisting in completing these and sending it over to our third-party survey company, which is McLean. You guys probably heard of it. We send out new hires as well. They basically take all the closed envelopes, open them up, consolidate all the data, and provide us with the feedback. We don't know who's completing it. We don't open up your surveys and look at them. So please, I want to make sure, and I reiterate this every year, and I want to bring it up again. If you have any questions, reach out to the HR team, and we're here to definitely answer any questions. But it's extremely important. A lot of times that I get to talk to some of the employees, one of the things that I hear is like, oh, nobody listens. Well, we don't listen because nobody tells us. We want to know where we can improve. We want to know what we can do moving forward in order to get a positive feedback from everyone. And the only way we can do it if we have at least closer to 100% participation. Please, I encourage this once again. Look at my face. Please do this. I need your feedback. I would really, really appreciate it as a whole HR team is working towards getting it done. So talking about the surveys, we have a new action plan coming in. We're not going to stress you out here. What we have done is we have reached out to different team members and requested to assist. So there will be packages going around to all the different sites. So what we would like you to do is to stop by, pick up an envelope, a survey completed, put it back in there, seal it, and drop it into that box. Do not hand it over to anybody. If you don't feel comfortable, you can send it straight to HR. You can just say HR at Pullman, and we'll put it in a box for you because we need to complete everything and send it over before the end date. Don't hesitate. If you don't see a package at your site, let your supervisor know, let your manager know, or even reach out to anybody in the HR department, and we will definitely provide and send over some more. So thank you. Looking forward to everybody's engagement on that. Pass it to Shahara to talk about the DEI.
So diversity, equity, and inclusion is still happening at Black & MacDonald's. We've had some questions from folks whether that's still a focus, so the answer is yes. And what that means is we are continuing to look at various avenues of changing our processes, looking at our what we do today to make sure that we can attract, retain, and grow the best employees we can. And by doing that, it means to have a wider lens, right? It's to look at society in a different way and truly keep up to the demands of the younger generation also coming into the organization. They come in with a lot of ideas from the get-go and trying to manage those expectations, but also making sure that we are giving them the opportunities that they want within a reasonable time frame. So I'm going to use that word reasonable because growth is important, but learning your jobs before we put those young employees into positions where safety is at risk. We got to make sure that we train them up. But this is a big focus for us. Even as we go and we look for business, our clients are asking, hey, what are you guys doing? How are you partnering with different communities? And so as we grow, as society changes, the organization will be keeping up with that. If you want to participate, we're always looking for representation from different groups in the company. Please send an email to the email you see on the screen, or contact Tuma or anyone from the HR team, and we'll be happy to include you. If you have an issue in getting to the meeting, we can always get you to join virtually as well. You don't have to physically come in to Pullman to be part of the DEI committee. Okay?
Any questions, guys?
Questions?
Oh, okay. I like that.
Okay,
Great.
over to you.
If we can have every single person who recently started with us stand up, please, wherever you're sitting down. All the new employees that started from September till now. These two. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Black & MacDonald family. We're happy to have you, and hopefully so far your journey is going amazing. It's incredible to see you guys come in here. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope some of the information that we provided was meaningful to you. Like Shahara mentioned, any questions that you guys have, something doesn't make sense, reach out to the HR team. We're happy to assist. We're gonna do some service awards. This time we have the service awards because we were able to do a workaround and find something that was a good fit for us, the vendor that we chose. So we're trying something new this year. We have individuals for different years. So what I'm gonna do is, number one, have our GMs come up to the stage. We're gonna have our GMs come up here, and then I'm gonna one by one call all the names. When I'm calling your name, please make your way down here. We're gonna gather you guys up here. We're gonna take a picture. And we are planning on putting that picture into our Sour quarterly newsletter that's created by Deborah. I think that's a great way of showing everybody who has reached a great milestone while working with Black & MacDonald. Sounds good? Good.
Read up. Sorry guys, I was just told what to do. Hold on. Am I flipping the slide too? Are we good, gentlemen? Yes? Okay. Getting this show on the road. I got it. Okay, 5 years. Can we have John Delag and Claudio Luciani up here, please? I can't shake hands. I have too much stuff here. Yeah, come on up. Okay, 10 years. Sebastian I'm going to kill your last names, guys. Sebastian Di Stefano, Daniel DeLulio, and Manuel Moreira. Keep going. Okay. Got it. 15 years. Jerry Drury and Deborah Bambach, who's not here today. Jerry? Okay. 20 years. Lisa Robinson. Well, this is going fast. 25 years. Jason Kalea. Good job, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for coming up. And people who were not here will definitely send the gifts to their house. If there's anyone who wants to take these service awards because they're going to be seeing their employees or their coworkers, definitely please stop by. I'm sitting right here. I'll be outside as well. Reach out. Me and Shahara are going to be here until the end of this presentation, all the way till the end. If any of you guys have any questions, stop by, grab a business card from us, and then you know where to find us. Thank you very much. And I'm going to pass it back to Anthony.
Thank you, Shahara and Huma. Moving along on the agenda, we've decided to do a project spotlight on one of the unique projects that we've just commenced. So I'll just run through some of the highlights with respect to this project. So the project is a design, supply, and installation of new LED luminaires. Customer is the Regional Municipality of York. And the scope of work entails the design, supply, and installation of energy-efficient LED luminaires. And in addition to that, we have to provide a comprehensive project management and a phased implementation of a lighting management system, and to provide ongoing support, maintenance, and system enhancement. To give some additional context to the project, Black & MacDonald had to be pre-qualified for this opportunity, so I just got to give a shout out to our proposal team who assisted us with regards to that, and also our estimating team. In addition to that, Black & MacDonald, we had to conduct a presentation, and based upon the presentation, they had a scoring system, and Black & MacDonald scored the highest, hence why we were awarded a contract. The project was divided into 3 phases. Phase 1, project mobilization system design. That includes having a specialized team in place, engaging in a cutting-edge project management solution. We have to conduct site-specific evaluation in collaboration with manufacturers. So Black & MacDonald also partnered with Acuity, who provided all the fixtures, and they partnered with Itron, who have the LMS system. In addition to the system design, they have to develop a mesh network, and based upon that, we have to identify specific areas to have a pilot project just to prove the concept actually works. Phase 2 is the initial deployment. So this is a strategic phase rollout plan that we have to provide to the region. Have quality control and safety measures in place just to ensure that everything is executed accordingly, and have proactive stakeholder communication. As you can imagine, there's a lot of various stakeholders just from the Black & MacDonald side, from the subcontractors, and also with the suppliers. Phase 3 is the supply and the support. So we need to ensure that we have an uninterrupted material supply chain, sustainable operation and maintenance, and system upgrades and enhancements as new updates to the system are being dispatched. So these were some of the key success factors for us that were considered. Having a robust project management framework in place, effective stakeholder engagement, having a strong focus on environmental and sustainability, proactive risk mitigation strategies have to be implemented, commitment to safety and quality and assurance, and having an adaptive management for emerging technologies. So why this project stands out? For this project is very unique in its nature because it's an innovative design solution for energy efficiency. So York Region is taking the initiative where they wanted to implement the system and be able to track and assist with their assets. Advanced project management tools needs to be integrated for us to be able to properly manage the system, and just alignment with the overall sustainability goals that has been established. Having transparent client communication is also key, just to make sure that everything progresses as needed. So just to conclude on the project spotlight, it's a forward-thinking lighting solution for the region of York. It improves public safety and reduces the environmental footprint, and have an enhanced community aesthetics and energy savings. It's also an adaptive strategy for long-term success. So I just wanted to capture that because for us in the Transportation Infrastructure Group, we don't usually have typical projects like this, so this is unique in its nature, and then we wanted to showcase and highlight that project. Moving along with the agenda. So we have the pleasure of having Derek Monroe with us. He's going to be doing a presentation on the energy-based system. So Derek is currently our manager of health, safety, human and organizational performance, onboarding, and learning and development. Just a bit of his background in terms of his education and training. He studied human resource management at Durham College, studied at the Royal Military College of Canada, Intermediate, Advanced, and Executive Leadership. Also, he's a Certified Joint Health and Safety Committee Management Chair. Prior to joining Black & MacDonald Limited, Derek has an extensive career in Ontario Power Generation, where he worked for 13 years. Some of the job titles he held there was a Human and Organizational Performance Manager at the Pickering Nuclear Power Plant. He served also as Security and Emergency Services, Operational and Programs Manager. He also led the Leadership and Management Training Department. In addition to that, Derek also served in the Canadian Armed Forces in the Army for 32 years. So we thank you for your service, Derek. Some of the key highlights, he was deployed on domestic operations across Canada in support of natural disaster relief, floods, ice storms, etc. He was also deployed on international operations. His last deployment came in 2011-2012 in Sierra Leone, primarily advising the federal government and senior military leaders. His task force also trained 1,000 Sierra Leone Armed Forces soldiers in preparation for combat operations against terrorism in Somalia. He was also invested into the Order of the Military Merit in 2012. With regards to Black & MacDonald, Derek has had a very good fortune to work alongside Black & MacDonald trades and colleagues for nearly 5 years, looking after our health, safety, environmental, human and organizational performance, and onboarding and training and development teams for our power generation group. And at that, I welcome Derek.
Can you hear me back there? Yeah, good, thanks. Okay, thanks for the introduction, Anthony. I guess that means I'm just getting quite old. I've had far too many bumps on the head and starting to lose my memory, so I'm going to have to use my notes here to keep me on track. Thanks so much for having me here today. Thanks for the kind invitation. I appreciate that. There's lots of good stuff going on in the region. I work for a power generation region. We primarily do maintenance at the nuclear power plants. Right now at Ontario Power Generation in Pickering and Darlington. And congratulations to the service awards today. Was it 25 years today, Jason? Is that what you said? Today? Wow. Oh, not today? Okay. Well, congratulations all. And that good catch. That's amazing. You very likely saved that person's life. I love that. Well done to you. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is energy-based safety. Just before we get started, a bit of levity to lighten things up and wake people up. Anybody watch Dilbert? Familiar with that? Yeah? Okay.
I have the knack. The knack? For technology. My mom says I always have.
I'm worried about little Dilbert. He's not like other kids.
What do you mean?
Yesterday, I left him alone for a minute, and he disassembled the TV, our clock, and the stereo.
That's perfectly normal. Kids take things apart.
Ooh. The part that worries me is he used the components to build a ham radio set.
Oh dear.
Is that bad?
Normally I'd want to run an EEG on him, but the machine isn't working. It's worse than I feared.
What is it?
I'm afraid your son has the knack.
The knack?
The knack. It's a rare condition characterized by an extreme intuition about all things mechanical and electrical, and utter social ineptitude.
Can he lead a normal life?
No. He'll be an engineer.
No!
There. Don't blame yourself.
My apologies to the engineers in the room. One of my best friends is an engineer, so I feel I have the right to make fun of engineers. Okay, so those are the strategic initiatives for corporate health and safety. The one we're going to talk about, the second, is energy-based safety. So I know you're thinking with the introduction of a new program, it's a lot of onerous stuff, new things to learn, all that kind of jazz. This is not onerous. This is not a new program. It's just minor enhancements to what we're already doing. The good efforts and performance we've had in safety, we're going to improve those a little bit more. And so really it just focuses on two things. One is a hard look at serious injuries and fatalities. I'm going to refer to those as SIFs, S-I-F. And the other piece is the addition of a couple of tools to help us monitor and prepare for and prevent serious injuries and fatalities. That's it, okay? So it's important to note that our owners, the MacDonalds, wholeheartedly endorse this program enhancement. They've studied the program enhancement, completed the training, and they endorse these additions to our safety and human performance capability as a company. So a couple of these slides might be a bit of an eye chart. You don't have to read all the fine detail. I'm going to explain as much as I can. If something doesn't make sense or you can't see it or you need some help with interpreting, just yell at me or throw a chalk brush or something and I'll try to figure things out. So this is a bit interactive. Why do you think we're focusing on SIF, serious injury and fatalities? Well, yeah, you said if we have fatalities, we won't get any work, but we'll also lose somebody, right? And so I think that was the obvious one, the obvious why we're focusing on it. We don't want to hurt people, and we don't want to kill people. And as an extension to that, it's going to affect our corporate reputation, and we're not going to get work, and you won't get a paycheck next week, and none of us will be employed anymore, right? So that's the obvious. And so that's a terrible condition. You heard a little bit about my one of my former careers there, and unfortunately, I've lost many friends, coworkers, colleagues at work, mostly duty related. Primarily, from combat operations, but also from training. And I consider the training fatalities and serious injuries the same as what we do here every day. Those are those times when we have enough time to talk about what's going to happen, what safety mitigations we have in place, how we're going to prevent bad things from happening, and they shouldn't happen. And so those are the hardest ones to take. I've had the unfortunate occasion to make 3 next of kin notifications. That's when you, as a representative of the organization, you turn up to somebody's house and tell them that their father, mother, brother, son, daughter, etc. is not coming home because we killed them. 3 of the worst days of my life, and there's not a supervisor or a person in this room that wants to go through that. So this is really, really important to us. So next, just a show of hands, who's been working in the industry for plus 5 years? Plus 10? More plus 15? Okay, so quite a few. How do you think we're doing in medically treated injuries, reportable injuries over the past, say, 10, 15 years? Good, bad, better? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, the companies are hiding it? You're going to have to help me out with that one. I don't quite understand.
Falsifying documents to say that their employees aren't hurt and it's not a lost time injury before they used to actually report it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I haven't experienced that. I hope that's not the case. Yeah, I think like cognitively, and I'm not going to argue with you on that, but cognitively, I feel that we're getting safer. And there might be some of that in certain companies. I don't doubt you. I'm not calling you a liar. But cognitively, having been in high consequence, high risk environment for 35 plus years, 40 years almost, I feel we're getting better. Some of the stuff we used to do 35, 40 years ago, we don't do anymore. We take, the activities of eliminating unsafe situations more seriously, advances in PPE, advances in tooling. I think we've generally gotten better at safety in those medically treated injuries. And you can see from the graph, essentially that green arrow is telling you that in both cases on the top is general industry. This one is in fact power. And then on the bottom, Black and MacDonald, medically treated injuries are going in the right direction. That's down. Okay. Having said that, between 2023 and 25, across the company, we experienced 15 critical injuries. Now, some of them may not have been life-altering or life-changing, but critical nonetheless, based on the former MOL, MLI-TSD definition of critical injury, generally broken bones and things like that. So we're not immune from those injuries. We're still having fairly significant injuries occurring across the company. And so managing low severity injuries is different than managing high severity injuries. The next thing to show here is that blue line on the top graph is the medically treated injuries decline over that period of time. The one that hasn't really changed is the one on the bottom. So you see the dotted line, not sure if you can see that on the, yeah, so the dotted line across the bottom, that's an indicator of serious injuries and fatalities. So over that same period of time, we've not improved that in any way, shape, or form. It stayed the same. It stayed flat. So it should tell you a few things. I mean, you can take from that what you will, but it might indicate that we're not taking that seriously enough, or we're not looking close enough at serious injuries and fatalities to prevent those events. This is an important piece. So energy. We all know we need various forms of energy to do work, right? We need energy to lift things, to move things, to cut things, to push things. It's everywhere in the work we do. So, having said that, we know we can't remove energy, but we can build capacity in our systems to control high energy hazards. Principle number one of energy-based safety is that energy causes harm, and more energy causes more harm. So safety then is not the absence of injuries per se, it's the presence of safeguards, defenses, and controls. Controls that work even when human mistakes, or make mistakes. And do humans make mistakes? Absolutely, that's what we do. We do that all day long. Nobody's perfect. And so just to point out from the human and organizational perspective, there's 5 principles that we consider in human performance. And the first one is just acknowledging that the people are imperfect and do in fact make mistakes. And the principles of human performance really are such that, we need to understand that if humans do make mistakes, how do you prevent that? So anybody heard of the term human condition? That's essentially what that means. Humans are fallible or make errors, right? And so if the cause of an event is the human condition or human error, what do you do about that? How do you fix it? You can't stop the human from making errors, right? Would everybody agree with that? So you have to build systems, processes, organizational attributes that prevent the inevitable human error from becoming a consequential event or a consequential injury. Is that fair? That's the premise of human performance. We know humans are going to make mistakes. What are the tools, barriers, et cetera, that we can put in place that when they do make a mistake, they're not going to fail. They're not going to get hurt. The event isn't going to be consequential. So this is one of those eye chart slides that I referred to. Really what I want you to know about this is through science and study, based primarily out of the University of Colorado, an organization called the Construction Safety Research Alliance, have done a lot of research into thousands of safety events, consequential, and determined that 1,500 joules is the line where it becomes a serious event. And so what that means is that amount of energy causes something that's life-altering, life-changing, or life-ending. So a serious injury all the way through to a fatality. And high energy line, 1,500 joules and greater, and again, that's backed by the science through that the research of the University of Colorado and Construction Safety Research Alliance. And so we need to manage high energy hazards, eliminate, mitigate, and control directly. Anybody familiar with that upside down pyramid on the left? Hierarchy of controls. Okay, so when we have hazards, the effort is to, one, eliminate the hazard. Second, substitute the hazard for something less hazardous. Third and fourth, two sets of controls, engineering and administrative. And very last, the least effective is PPE. So a direct control for a known high hazard will save your life all by itself, and even if someone messes up. Okay, that's kind of the definition of a direct control. They're targeted, strong, and forgiving, as you can see on the right side there. An example of that, you've probably got lots of these in your own work group, but a simple example of that everybody can probably get their head around is a safe work area. At least that's what we call it in our region. So you're lifting something up, hoisting, rigging. You set up a safe work area, which is an area demarcated or denoted that people can't be in while the lift is happening, right? Everybody's kind of familiar with that concept, safe work area? And so the premise of that is that when you're lifting something, a pole, a plant, a transformer, whatever it is, if the equipment fails, the wire rope, the crane, the rig, the hoist, whatever it is fails, and the item falls, the safe work area prevents people from being in there, and nobody's going to get hurt or killed. Okay, so that's an example of a very simple example of a direct control. I'm sure you've got lots of them in your own organization. So we're going to talk a little bit about one of the tools, and the tool we refer to as the energy wheel. I know some folks have already seen some detail on that so far, but this little video is the premise of the energy wheel.
Believe it's true, you believe it or not, it's true, because when you believe something's true, you'll find evidence for it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you a little test. Look around this room right now and notice everything you can see that's brown, okay? Everything you can find, it's a test. Look all around, both sides of you, anything you see that's brown. People at home, look at that in your own room. What you see is brown. Okay, close your eyes.
Okay.
Tell me everything you just saw that was red. Now, obviously, you saw a lot more brown, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're looking for it. Open your eyes, now look for red. Look for red anywhere you can find red, any place you can find red.
Okay.
Okay? Did you find more red this time? How come?
Because I was looking for red.
That's right. Once you develop a belief, you find what supports it. So watch this. You will find stuff that's not even there in order to be successful. I bet you saw some beige shit, called it brown just to feel successful, did you?
Right over there.
I bet you saw some things burgundy and called them red just so you could feel successful.
I factored in some of those now and later.
You see what I'm saying? If you think you're screwed up, you're messed up, you're going to...
Anybody know who that was? Yeah, Anthony Robbins. Okay, so a good example there of the use of the energy wheel. So really that's the energy wheel on the left there. You might have saw that hanging around a bit. You're going to see it more often. It's a number of things that pose high hazard energy sources. The icons on the right, they're called sticky icons, and that's either stuff or shit that kills you. And so those are significant or high energy hazards that kill people. And so they serve to help us identify hazards before we experience the hazards. So getting into that a little bit more, and based on the conversation of the video that Tony was just on there, based on research, 45% of hazards are identified without the use of any hazard identification tool. And that's based on your practice, your experience, your trade knowledge, your life learning, the things that you're familiar with in your mind, right? People can identify 45% of the hazards on average that are in any given situation. The energy wheel provides us reminders to think about the hazards that we tend to overlook, and so providing a new way of looking at hazard recognition. Incorporating the energy wheel into our risk assessments or our pre-job hazard assessments increases hazard identification from 45 up to 75%. So a significant increase, right? There's still a small few that are not going to be identified based on not being available or not recognizable before the work commences. So, having said that, how do you think we'd use this energy wheel in our work? I know you haven't probably talked about this yet in your own groups, but how do you think you'd use that practically? Any thoughts? Yeah? Pre-job hazard assessment. And so this isn't a checklisty thing. I mean, there's a significant group of a set of knowledge in every single crew. That's what you primarily use, right? So crew and supervisor having a pre-job briefing or pre-job hazard assessment, knowing a little bit about the work, having some trade knowledge, are going to be able to identify hazards that might exist in the work that's coming up. You go to the work face and you do that again, or you do that at the same time, and you identify those hazards based on your practice, experience, knowledge, life lessons, etc. The practice is then to use the energy wheel to draw out those hazards that you might not have thought about based on your own context. Is that fair? So not a checklist up front to think, use your own knowledge to consider those hazards first, and then use the energy wheel as a tool to help you think about and remember those other types of hazards that you might identify. So a bit of an exercise here. And this is another interactive part of the chat. What kind of hazards do you see in that picture? Gravity? How so? Yeah, so that pole might drop. Okay. What else you see? Hit by, struck by? By what? The pole moving around? Yeah, right on. What else? The vehicle. Yeah, right on. So they're on a live street there. Where? So, yeah, so there's probably, there's the obvious stuff, the curbs. The road looks maybe a bit wet. It might have rained out. There's always the potential for that. Any other hazards you see? Sorry? Yeah, equipment failure. Like what? The boom? Yeah, the sling? Yeah. Equipment failures on the rigging, the boom, the hoist, the sling. Sorry? What about them? Maybe untrained? Yeah, maybe not having their best day? Is that something you assess before you go to work? Fitness for duty, right? Everybody should think about that every day, whether it's your supervisor thinking or talking to you about it, or us looking at our buddies. That's about taking care of one another, right? Anything else you see there that we missed? So let's say, sorry? Pinch points? Yeah, of course. So let's pull up the energy wheel. If you look at those icons, gravity, mechanical, electrical, pressure, temperature, chemical, biological, radiation, sound, and motion. Anything we missed? Lots? Like what? Say that again? Yeah, there's probably some loud noise going on there. I don't see any ear pro. Anything else? Heat stress? From? Yeah, it's hard to see in this picture because the screen isn't great, but the sky is totally blue. There's not a cloud in the sky. Pretty hot day, wearing all kinds of safety gear, PPE, buckets, like hard hats, gloves, long sleeve shirts. Sorry? Geez, I don't think you're going to be able to read those. So I think we got a lot of them. Motion, moving material, gravity, suspended load, mechanical, cables, ropes, pulleys under pressure, sound from the equipment. What about hydraulic fluid? Any hydraulic fluid in that equipment? Yep. So it's not only hydraulic fluid, but probably under pressure, right? Sun exposure we got here. Gravity, what about the fella standing on the, I don't even know what that thing's called, but standing on the platform to operate the boom? Chance to fall off there. That stuff, bumping around in the snow and ice and salt, gets rusty. Gravity, uneven surfaces, somebody mentioned that back here by the curb there. The one on the bottom right, if you can't read that, it says biological. Allergens, insects, and plants. So That's an obvious concern for some people, not for everybody, but things like some types of biting bugs, poison ivy. People have allergies to poison ivy. So the point is, we use the energy wheel to maybe suss out those things that we don't think of based on our own practical experiences. Okay, so the classification part of this, how do we learn from, what we find in the field, whether it's pre-event or post-event? So this is, you're not going to really have to worry about this. This is the duty of your HSE staff, so Wes and his team are going to be responsible for classifying. Safety classification and learning, so they're going to be responsible for classifying the event, and the reason that's important is because it dictates the level of learning, right? So remember at the front I said we're concerned about serious injuries and fatalities. The higher you go up on that chart, to the top being the fatality, the more significant learnings that are going to be come out of that. So the outcome, these are the outcomes. When an event happens, as opposed to just guessing or using legacy things like MRPH, anybody heard that term before? Maximum reasonable potential for harm. So that's kind of gone by the wayside, didn't really allow us to learn all that much. So this is, through that science, deciding what the high energy effects are and how they transcend into an outcome. And those are the three that we're going to be worried about. HSIF, which stands for high energy, present, significant or serious injury or fatality. LSIF on the right, low energy present, serious injury or fatality. And in the middle is the PSIF. That one's maybe seem innocuous, but that's a really important one. And the P is for potential. So not a serious injury or fatality, but a potential for it. And those are the ones that we really have to learn from. Some of the other outcomes are, kind of in the positive effect. Capacity, that's a release of high energy, but with a direct control in place, no injury. So that's the hoisting and rigging effort, safe work area, the thing breaks, falls down, nobody gets hurt. So direct control in place, that's a capacity event. Success, I think, is fairly obvious. No incident, but all barriers in place. And exposure. Exposure is where we got lucky. No incident, but exposure to worker is present. So again, not too much detail on that slide. This is really the nub of that from the learning perspective. Once we get up into the HSIF, PSIF, LSIF territory, that's where we get really serious about learning from this. So the learning from these events is entirely aimed at finding out what didn't go right and what we can do to ensure workers are never put in the same or similar dangerous, uncontrolled circumstance in the future. That is the entire effort. This is about keeping us safe. Okay, so again, I talked about how this is a relatively minor enhancement to our program. It's not a whole host of tools and new things and new programs and trashing everything we did before. We're just enhancing, right? So really, one of the tool we're going to add is the energy wheel. And why? It says right there, it increases our hazard recognition by 30%. The second component is sticky, the shit or stuff that kills you. The icons focus in on hazards with high energy, the ones most likely to cause the serious injury and or the fatality. The third piece is that we implement direct controls for each sticky hazard. So again, don't think too hard about this. You have to be deliberate, but it's not difficult. So you identify a hazard, what do you do with it? That's the operationalizing this, right? You put a direct control in place so the hazard doesn't exist anymore. Or that it's controlled, I should say. And then lastly, focus on learning opportunities around sticky, SIF, and direct controls, including the vast quantity of potential incidents. Is that pretty simple, right? Like fairly straightforward. Put the tool in, look at the icons, identify the direct controls for those hazards, and learn from them. So all that surrounds the energy-based safety. So our design and planning, the stuff on the outside there, that's the stuff that we already do. So the design and planning for the job, pre-job hazard assessments, Observation and coaching, that's when supervisors are out in the field monitoring and ensuring the high standards are there for all the crews that we know exist, monitoring those programs, measuring. Again, that's the problem with Wes's team. You don't have to worry about that. He feeds that back for us. And trending and learning. So this, again, it's not another, big program or coming in to replace everything we've been doing for years, because we've been doing a good job at that. It's a tool being added to our current processes to make them better, make us better. Implementing the energy wheel, high energy out icons and direct controls into our pre-job hazard assessments and site inspections will help us be better in doing those things. That's why we call it sort of safety differently. So there's some things going on in the background with your support teams, whether it's corporate safety or your regional health and safety teams. So there's a working group to drive the implementation of this. There's training going across the regions now, starting from the highest levels of the organization. I mentioned before that our owners believe this or see this as a cultural imperative. That's important to note, because culture, as we know, whether it's, out there in the public or in here at work, culture starts up here somewhere, right? Then resonates and lives down here, but it has to start at the top, and our owners wholeheartedly endorse this enhancement. Obviously updating applicably our program, our HSE manual, definitions are in place, aligning human performance, energy-based safety, and a couple of other bits and bobs. So what's next for all of us? So that's what's going on in the background with your support teams. For the rest of us, what does that mean? It means, consider how hazard identification prevents us from harm and produces efficient, quality results. If you think back, in your personal lives at home doing work, or out in the crews doing work at work, we find that we most often, when we fall down and we investigate why, it often comes back to the pre-execution phase, so preparation, right? Whether it's pre-job hazard, we missed a hazard identification, didn't plan properly, it always comes back to the beginning. So this helps us get a little bit better at the beginning, identifying those hazards that are going to bite us in the ass if we don't do something to control them directly. That's what's next for us. Next, after that, similar to Wes's program that he's instituted here in the region, if you see something, unsafe or concerning, absolutely, say something. I love that. One of the regiments in the Canadian Army, the Royal Canadian Regiment, has a motto very, very similar to that. It says, never pass a fault. It's exactly the same thing. If you see something, say something, because that's about taking care of people. Third, and this is an important one because, sometimes we do work alone, but the bulk of the time we're in crews with other crew members. So the next step for us there is to not stop looking after one another. That's really a key component of our safety and human performance program. The fact that you give a shit and you care about each other enough to say something and to look after one another. Any questions? Okay, thanks for letting me spend some time with you today. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks, man. Still on?
Thank you so much for your time, Derek. And I have no doubt that this new hazard recognition tool is definitely going to help us as we move forward with regards to our safety culture here at Black & MacDonald. Right now, we'll roll right into our regional updates. And then I just want to remind everyone that we do have a quiz. So the quiz is based on the content in the presentation. So I hope that everyone is paying attention. We have some prizes to give away too as well, so just to test your knowledge. At this point, I'll ask Afra if you can come up and do some of the regional updates. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, so looking to some recent wins and updates, Peer Region, we secured a contract for Transportation Infrastructure Group. It's a traffic signal and a street lighting. Secured another project with Metrolinx on Ontario line. We are bidding lots of jobs for that project, and we secured one of the smaller package for the bus loop. City of Toronto is one of our major clients in Toronto, and we secured another job, the capital projects that we're doing for the City of Toronto. Just 3 days ago, we heard that we secured the first project for the new division we set up, which is almost a separate company called Velocity, if you heard the name. That was the first project we secured, the large project we secured with City of Red Deer in Alberta. And that's a 5 years material supply contract. It's around $3.5 million for 5 years. And also lots of other projects for City of Toronto on the traffic and ITS group. On the other side of the business, Hydro One Networks, the Engineering and Technician Services Division, secured additional $2 million in the broadband environment. Hydro One Networks, the Engineering and Technical Services, again, secured other projects for Ingersoll, around $2 million. Another project with Hydro One, same group for the 7 years commissioning, MSA type of contract for $500K per year. And Aurora Power, the Engineering and Technical Service Group, secured another job for Niagara Hydro Center commissioning. Toronto Hydro and Terra, our line group, secured the job at around $1.2 million. And our engineering group secured the Bomensee project for $2.5 million. Lots of good news. Are we going to do the draw now? Or? And quiz, yeah. So do you want to go first with the draw?
Either or.
Okay, let's go with the draw then.
You want to do the draw first?
Yeah. Yeah. You want to pick up the first one?
Yeah. Let me just get these out. Let's shake it up a little bit.
So the first ticket, 451502. 451502. Once, twice, pass. The next one, 451070. Woohoo! Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'll take that.
Awesome.
Can you pick another one?
Take one, please.
Congratulations. 451045. 451045. Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pick another one?
Oh, I need to pick that.
Yeah. Just only one. Can I see? Should give it back to me.
Okay, wait.
It's for the next one.
Okay.
451061. 451061. Oh, it's Heather?
Oh, Heather! Woo! I like. Congratulations. I'll take it.
Congratulations.
Can you pick one?
Pick one. 451470.
451470. Nobody? The next one. 451482. Come on. Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
I'll take the ticket. Thank you.
Congratulations. Harriet. I think we're done with that, right? Yeah, you're the last one. So we're going to go to the quiz, right, Anthony?
Yeah. All right, so we have 3 prizes to give away. And I just want, so Huma will look and just raise your hands if you know the answer, and then Huma will bring the microphone to you. So what is the name of the new hazard recognition tool?
Raise your hand.
He gets kicked out, he doesn't listen.
I'll repeat the instructions. Please raise your hand. Name a DEI event that Black and MacDonald conducts. Rena. Woo! Gotta be paying attention, Jay.
International Women's Day.
Thank you, Rena. That is correct. What was the topic of the safety moment? Keep your hand up.
Let's keep your hand up so I can come up to you.
Young workers.
That is correct. And this is a very easy one. Why is it important to have a proactive quality mindset? Why is it important to have a proactive quality mindset? Derek?
To ensure an excellent continuing relationship with the client.
Correct. That was a trick question.
Whoever said that, I'll see you guys later.
So thanks everyone for participating. We wanted to kind of create some engagement for the quarterly, well, semi-annual all-staff meeting. So just make sure that you're paying attention. Yeah, hold on. Let me just. Perfect. Do you have one more?
This got stuck behind it. It's one of the raffles.
Oh, there's one more?
Raffle.
Okay. Oh, raffle? Okay. There's one more raffle.
Can you do it? Because it got stuck behind the envelopes.
Okay, we have one more raffle ticket to give away. Oops.
It's okay.
Just grab another one.
The last raffle, 450995. 450995. Nobody? 450990. Next one. This is the last call. 451501.
Oh, cash.
Woo! Congratulations.
Thanks, Cash.
Yeah. So, we good? Closing remarks? Okay, some closing remarks at the end. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the presenters. Everyone done a great job. It was very informative. In terms of the good catches, like I should say, like we are really impressed with the good catches as we discussed this morning on the supervisory call. It's really good to see those catches from different teams. Please keep doing that, and just remember that we all in this room, we all the advocate of the free hazard working environment. So please keep doing those good catches, send it over to us. It brings lots of great values to the company and to our group. In terms of the MVA incident and CVR, let's quickly touch on that. I got an email yesterday from our national fleet, and they gave us like a list of 10 speed tickets that came to us the other day. This is a big issue for all of us in this room because, as you know, if a CVR going beyond a certain threshold, we are not able to operate because we are not able to drive any commercial trucks. So please pay attention, especially to those crews that's working in GTA, specifically in Toronto. They're adding more speed cameras, and if you know, they're gonna relocate the speed cameras on a monthly basis or every 2 months. So please pay attention to that. If we get more tickets, it's gonna be a huge, huge issue for us right now. We're trying to deal with those tickets and see how it goes, but just keep in mind our buddies in Ontario, they're dealing with that situation right now, and it's not they are not in the greatest shape. Also, I want to thank to all the volunteers that help us to make this happen. As you know, it's going to take lots of effort, coordination to have this type of events. So I just want to say thank you to all of them, and please have a round of applause for all of those that are helping us. And as I mentioned, we're going to do the annual compliance. So I want to ask our trader staff to stay in this room. Wes is going to do all the training after we're done, and I'm done with my closing remarks. And at the end, I want to present that quote from Muhammad Ali Clay that has stayed with me for many years, and hopefully that's going to be the same case for you. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing. Thanks a lot, and drive safe.
Hello. So, all you guys that are staying for the training, don't get excited and take off. Don't be fucking doing that. You got a 5-minute smoke break and then get back in here, but you got to come to the front of the church because we're going to give you clipboards with the stuff on it, okay?